this time we're going to have our Q&A session. Dr. Grill did have to leave. He's got a speaking engagement in San Diego. But he is having a presentation on June the 13th at Bowers Museum. It's going to be entitled UCI Mind, Ask the Doc. And you can get more information about that at mind.uci.edu. So now I'm going to read our first question here. Is it true that Alzheimer's is more common in Orange County? And what are the causes of this?
I'm from San Diego, so I'll bow out of that question.
I think that was one for Dr. Grill, so.
Do you want to pass on that one? Does anyone?
I'd like to pass.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to call a friend? Okay.
However, you know what, I will answer that, and what I think it could be possibly, you think about this area as being high net worth. A lot of professionals in this community. With that comes a lot of stress. Because you think in your professional life, if you've owned your own business or been a principal in a major company, you didn't have a 40-hour work week. You worked 7 days a week to solve problems. So again, I think it could be stress because heaven knows you have a great built environment. So again, that might be something to look at. And again, the doctor would be the best one because he's been doing that research. But when I think and I look at the community, that could be an aspect of it.
And when you take a look at some of the risk factors, we have a lot of those, I think, that are prevalent in Orange County, you know, with stress management and trying to deal with that and lack of sleep and so on. So let's get to some of the other questions here. This one is for Judy, and I can relate to this one. Do you have any ideas regarding problems with sleep?
Absolutely. What you want to create is a sleep kit. I created a sleep kit. I give it to my friends. That sleep kit has my earplugs in it, and I have never been an earplug wearer. There's something about that can reduce any, I'll say, ambient noise that might just wake you up from that cycle of sleep. The second thing, if you're not allergic to it, lavender has also been known to promote sleep, so whether it's a lavender oil, but again, what you want to make sure is you're using that pure lavender oil, the essence, and not some synthetic blend. The other thing I recommend is a sleep mask. And again, this is for those of you who are chronic non-sleepers. You want to pull out the big guns, and that is with this trifecta. The other thing is your environment. I encourage you to have, I'll say, again, for chronic sleepers, to have those drapes that block the light. I also encourage you to stop your electronics about a half hour before. And my last tip is a turkey sandwich or a turkey snack before you go to sleep. That has natural tryptophan. I was staying at a hotel, and they actually had a sleep menu. There are about 4 items on it that they had they'd done the research to provide their guests with a good night's sleep. So yes, there is something, but it does take some intervention. And again, there's some great information, and I looked it up. It's the my favorite website when I'm looking for information on sleep is the National Sleep Foundation. And their website is sleepfoundation.org. Super simple. Again, that's sleepfoundation.org. So again, if you're looking for more tips, that's a great place.
Okay, so sleep mask, earplugs, lavender, and a turkey sandwich. Got it.
How many of you, by a show of hands, have a tough time with sleeping at night? Okay. All right. I just wanted to see. I suspected that was the case. I think mindset is also a big part of it too, of like I think what we think about during the day also impacts what goes on before bed. And so a lot of times countering thoughts of these like, you know, all these things are going wrong and this and that. Every time those kind of thoughts come in, then you counter it with another thought of like, it's going to be okay. You got this, girl.
Okay, next one is for Linda. What happens to the data on Iris OC? What is the privacy policy?
Thank you for asking that question. That's one near and dear to my heart. Iris OC has been built for privacy, data privacy from the ground up. This was the discussions that we had long before Iris ever existed. So the data, as I mentioned, belongs to you. It does not belong to Iris. You own it. Now, of course, it does sit on our Iris OC servers, but that is all encrypted. We do not sell it. We do not share it. We're very, very transparent about the fact that you are able to go in and delete your data. So if you're worried about being tracked and advertised to and sold as a commodity, this is something at the core that Iris believes is not what you want, and it wasn't built for that purpose. So again, this is intended to be a community resource and for you to own your own data and to keep it private, and it is not shared with anyone, including other people on the site. So that if you have something that you want to share with other people, you have to specifically say, I want to share this with, and be very intentional about who that might be, who also is on Iris. So privacy is locked down as we can do it at the moment. So, and that is something that's top of mind.
Okay, and next question is for Carrie. What can you do when your spouse demonstrates deterioration but refuses to get help or follow up?
Great question. Did everyone hear that? Yeah. So it will happen with a lot of us that, you know, you don't age exactly the same way with your spouse, and you'll have different times where one person, thank you. How's that? Okay, so we have these spouses or longtime partners, and one of us is kind of aging one way and one of us is aging another way, and it's tough, right? Maybe one's sleeping, one's not sleeping. One's really trying to learn this tech stuff, one wants nothing to do with it. How do you navigate together? So that would be a whole Oprah of its own, but so I'll just give you the 1 cent version is, you know, that love that you have for each other is deeper and bigger and sweeter than the frustration that you feel, and there isn't one couple that doesn't feel frustrated. So all the AARP magazine where people are like skipping and looking at each other like they're the greatest thing ever, I don't know anybody like that. So I think you stand by your person. You recognize that ultimately it's you that you can control. You know, you do your best aging and joy while loving that person and recognizing that they're doing it in a way that might not be good for them, but it's also their autonomy. So it's that balance of I'm going to try to invite you and encourage you, but if a person wants to be in their chair or be crabby, we can't change that person. So stick with them, do your own thing. How's that?
Okay, thank you. All right, next question for Judy. What supplements prevent dementia?
I'm so glad someone asked that question. The question is about supplements. The research has not proven particular supplements benefit or reduce the risk of dementia. However, I will tell you, there is a strong placebo effect. A colleague of mine who was diagnosed with cognitive loss, he began taking, I think this might be the heartburn, Prevacid. Somebody might be familiar with it. It was one of those that you can buy at the drugstore. He began taking it. His wife said he improved. I don't think it was the supplement per se, because as you heard from the doctor, the research is not there for a treatment or a cure. However, a sense of well-being might reduce the symptoms and I'll say the behaviors if someone is not as worried about displaying the symptoms. So as a placebo effect, yes, but if you are substituting that, a supplement, for doing some of that other work that I mentioned earlier, no. Again, that self-awareness. Take the supplement and do the Power of 10 walk.
Okay, thank you. And our next question for any of our panelists. Question is, I've lived 80 years without technology. Why start now?
I'll start that one and then pass it over to you. Well, first of all, you can't escape technology, and by that I don't mean that you have to be actively engaged with it. It's just a matter of fact that technology is getting integrated into every part of our lives. And today we take it for granted that we can go on the internet and get the information that we need. And there is lots of good information out there. Absolutely, but there's some stuff that's not so great. But technology is getting simpler and more invisible in our lives every day. Look at your car, for example. That is powered by technology and software. So why should you start now? Number one, it helps the brain, right? It's one of those learning things. It keeps you engaged, it connects you with other people, and it connects you with the important information that you need to know. I was talking to a couple of doctors the other day, and I've heard this from several, is we even have our technology portals with our healthcare plans or our hospitals. And less than 5% of people use those portals, and which are extremely valuable for keeping connected with your healthcare providers. So thanks to technology like GrandPad, technology is becoming very simple, easy to use. It does not have to be the frustrating element that you often associate with it. So technology is here to stay. It helps us expand our horizons as well as our brain and cognitive abilities. And I'm going to pass it over to Carrie because I'm sure she
That was
has-
perfect. I completely agree with Linda.
And gosh, I was in technology in the late 90s, and when I discovered the internet and that there were video cameras all around Paris, I thought, oh, my mother would have loved to see this boulangerie streamed from her home computer. I wish she had lived long enough to see that technology. So when we talk about it connecting, if you're now armchair traveling, you can travel around the world using technology. And with something like a GrandPad, again, easy to use. A more serious reason is so much of our I'll say outreach, and again, all of us, including Supervisor Bartlett, is online because we do not have the money to market, to do mailings on everything we do, so it goes electronically. So you might miss some valuable information that you can use or someone you love can use. And lastly, I am a big believer of being silent on Facebook. That was one of the first, that was my first job as a gerontologist, teaching social media to older adults or adults past 50. You can have a Facebook account with no information, not even your picture, but that allows you to search websites. So you could search Supervisor Bartlett's Facebook page and find out where she's speaking at, what initiatives she's working at. You can go to the GrandPad Facebook page. And again, Facebook is very, I'll say insulated for those of us who just want to look. And I think Iris OC has a Facebook page?
We do.
Again, most organizations, because we just do not have the funds to do the outreach, we have a Facebook presence. So again, you can be silent on Facebook and just be an observer.
Absolutely. Okay, that's all the time we have for questions today. And again, we don't want to stand between you and lunch and our concert this afternoon. Please thank our great speakers.
Thank you.